I've done it for 52 years myself. My father did it all his working life. His father did it all his working life, and I just remember him. My father's father used to say, "Hey, come on, boy, I'll take you down to meet your dad." When I was about that high, my granddad, and he lived till he was 84, and he did it all his life. And he took it on from his father. His father before him done it all his life. He came down to Stopford and picked up with so my great granny said, picked up with a little girl and did the fishing from then on. When I started, there was a dozen people in this estuary fishing, going across the mudflats on mud horses and having a pony and trap, taking their fish into the local market and selling it in the shops and that in Bridgwater and Taunton and just locally. But it's all died away now, there's just us. It's just a one-man band, and that people have been able to make easier money doing other things. Whether Adrian will carry on and do it, he's been doing it a few years now with me. If he does it, well...
How long have I been coming out here? On and off since I was 12. So I've been coming out here nearly 30 years. On and off. I go where the money goes, then come back and have another go.
And for the first 30 years, we never had holiday or nothing. Because we had too many kids. No, we had a big family, so we was just fishing all the time, really.
You cannot go out, because if you don't go out, you don't get any fish. Or there might be a nice salmon, it'd be spoiled. If you didn't go out, went out the next day, it'd be spoiled. Either seagulls or what of it, Since about in the cold water, you can leave it an extra day, but the seagulls and herons, they'll play havoc with the fish. You've got to go out we go out every day. I mean, Christmas days, you don't stop, you don't have an holiday as such.
Because it gets in your blood, like a lot of things. Once you start doing it, and it gets in your blood, and all through the season, it changes by the day. We catch different species of fish all through the year, and it all changes.
You say a fisherman and they think, oh, what life? They think you're going to sit out there with a rod and line. It's not like, they don't expect you to go out across the mud with a mud horse. If you say, what? You go out across the mud like on your mud horse. Well, what's a mud horse? It's trying to explain, but it's so simple, but it's trying to explain to them what it is like. I suppose you'd call yourself a shrimper. Shrimperman. That's what it used to. That's what it used to be. All about shrimps. And then we got a bit more netting and that, and started catching more fish. The fish seems to be right now.
Oh, we used to catch tons of them. We still do catch a nice lot on times. Oh, we have a wonderful lot of shrimp, but not like we did years ago. We used to abundance of them. But then that applies to everything around all the coastal areas. The fish and that they're not so plentiful as they was years ago. Because there's too many humans after them, isn't there?
Well, we used to sell a lot of shrimps in Bridgwater, Hybrid, Burnham, Western Superman. So all the little shops are closed down. Folk are gone. I mean, you're coming into another generation, unless your grandparents showed you how to do shrimps and that. It's a bit like peanuts. When you start eating them, they're Moorish. You can't stop. Well, that's what I find anyway. But there's another generation coming along now, but the parents wouldn't even think about coming down for wet fish or shrimps. There's a lot of people who will eat shrimps anyway.
like those eels, they're very popular. The live eel. See, look at that. That's beautiful live eel. They're really delicious. But people like to buy them alive. And they smoke them and all that. The people that do go for them, the average person wouldn't look at an eel because they get put off. They say, oh, I wouldn't eat that, snake looking, and puts people off. But people who've been, like myself, that's my favourite, the eel. I eat them more than anything. So, oh yeah, all this estuary here is all 6,000 acres of mudflat. And that's Cardiff over there, 14 miles away. And that's nothing but mud from here right across. And Weston-super-Mare over there, 12 miles on the other side of the channel. And Burnham-on-Sea down there, 7 miles down. It's from 6 inches to 6 foot or 10 foot deep. You can disappear in places, it's so soft. But it's such a vast area that the only way of going across the mud flats, like the old people here, was on the Mudhorse. And that Mudhorse has been going for hundreds and hundreds of years. And we've never improved. The same kind of simple thing we use today is what they used hundreds of years ago.
The father thinks that the Romans invented them, but I'd like to know where they did, who invented them and where they came from. It's so simple that you'd never walk out there with a weight on your back or walk in. But there you can push 200 or 300 weight on one of those, but you'd never carry it really because the mud was so deep you sink down there.
Just a primitive little tool, but it works. And you lie on there and push like that, see? Lie, put your belly on there and push across the mud. You get half a dozen of these, but we just keep out the rock, put stones on them. He should be out there now, but he had to put a couple of nails in because he came apart. But he'll put it up in the truck and then take them out tomorrow. Like I said, when I started, it was a picture to see so many people using them, but now it's just nobody. It's finished. Just us. We here to still use them, but back. For generations and generations, the Mudhorse was the main essential thing to get right across those mud flats.
We make our own Mudhorses, yeah. We ain't got any wood. We usually find driftwood and that. We've got to buy the bottom boards, the skids. But then a lot of it's just made out of driftwood we find. We don't spend a lot of money on materials.
Because we've tried all different things like the snow trike from Sweden. We bought 2 of them 20 years ago, and overcrafts, little overcrafts. We've tried them all, and we've never had any success with any of them. Because the mud and the salt in the mud and the abrasive material, and we've always gone back on the Mudhorse because at least you have to work hard, but it's a cheap, renewable tool that you can make. If you wash it away, you can make another one, and it doesn't cost nothing, only a few pounds.
I did make some model ones, these are bigger ones, and actually I put them on there, and people wanted to buy them, so I started in the winter making little models for people to buy, you know. It's an unusual thing, isn't it? I mean, there's not many people who go across the mud on a sledge.
Nowhere else in the world. We're the only place. The way years ago when I first started, there was a dozen people going across the mud flats. Really, it's a shame that it wasn't all recorded. But people just took things for granted in those days. Pity really, because there's a lot of things that could have been. Now people say, "Oh, they used to do that." Shame really, that it's all kind of bad. Where our weed walk is quite reasonable. You can get along, but if you try to go off track, you could disappear. It's so deep in places and soft that you would really get in trouble and you couldn't get out. You can go so far as the eye can see, and it's all mud flats and real deep stuff, you know. It's very dangerous. You wouldn't be able to get it. If you were on the Mudhorse, perhaps, but you just couldn't walk on it because you could easily disappear in places. Very soft. For instance, when we were out there fishing, when we were really busy and catching a lot, we know exactly when we got to move, and if we don't move, then we have to leave the fish behind. You just couldn't, because once it starts coming in, you have to get back out of it, because it comes in behind you. It comes in so, especially when we were out there, it comes in right in behind you and, you know, cut you off, and you couldn't walk or swim against that current because it's so powerful. It's urging, coming out of the channel like that. Terrific power. But we've always done it on the mud flats with a Mudhorse, so we know where to go on that. But if you get off of that Mudhorse and try to take an empty basket, for instance, you just wouldn't be able to walk anywhere. You'd be, the mud's that soft. But with a big Mudhorse, it keeps you sliding along the top. Well, I've been brought up as a young lad with my dad. When before I could walk, he used to bring me out on the sledge. When I was a little tiddler, I can remember now coming out, he'd wrap me up in a overcoat and he'd push me on down across here, and I was too small to get off the sledge. And he would get off the sledge and do what he had to do, and I'd be still there, curled up on the sledge. And that was when I was very, very small. Yeah, I can see him now. But of course, there was a lot more mud in those days than what there is now. It was terrific lot of mud. And it's somehow a lot of it is moved. There's still a lot here, but there's an awful lot that have moved.
There's once upon a time you could go out there, you couldn't stand up in the mud, you had to use a sledge in the mud. But now, I mean, you could see the day when you went out there, it's only up to your knees in some places. But years ago, I would have even never took that little Jeep out there. You would never, they always thought it was bottomless. But now, I mean, since they built the other point, the nuclear power station, it just seems to taken all the mud away. That's what people's on like Hinkley Point. There's a radiation effect and things like that. Dad was saying, somebody told him, within 4 years, Hinkley Point takes all the channel in and back up and recycles the channel within 4 years. I mean, it's incredible when you pass the water. On a cold day, you can see the steam coming off at the point. It might have gone up a degree, but there's such a vast water out there anyway.
It's like a river going in it's going in, sucking in there and coming out the other end. Continue 24 hours a day, like. As she comes in, the tide, she shelves something as shallower waters, and the further you come in, the smaller the fish. Still get big fish in here, but out there, they're really nice ones.
Where I go, as far as you can go, you can't go any further out than what I got. Because the tide is, the highest tide is 5'4", 5'6". You might get the old freak one might go up to 5'8", 6 meters. But I'd only fish those for one day, but I wouldn't get them down in time anyway. But that's where you get the fish out there.
Of course, the tide comes up this channel every 6 hours and floods the lot out. You can't, unless you've been out here and seen the tide come in, you can't imagine how powerful it is, and comes up from the Atlantic, all up the Bristol Channel, right up to Bristol and fills this estuary up, billions of tons of water. And within 6 hours, it's all drained back again. Incredible. must be one of the biggest rivers on Earth. The volume that, because we're stood here now, but if you was in a few hours' time, you'd have 25 foot of water over you. You'd be on the bottom of the sea, and the tide would be 5 miles in, gone in. And of course, that's what brings in all the fish in there. Yeah. I don't think we've got enough fish to go around that. A few people that go around that and that. Somebody bug it up. We don't want to drag people all down here. You haven't got what they want, like. I bring out the stock, see? Some of them come a long way. You get a bit of fish.
That's what I mean, it's like this. Days are very quiet, you won't see a soul. And then another day, you've got people in and out all the time, like, you know. But I mean, that goes with the weather as well. If it's, and look, yeah, the regulars, they know, they work with tides. Some of them's got tide books and they know when to come and when not to come. Or they want something special put back, they ring up and say, can you put it back a dog or so, or whatever we've got. And that's the way it goes, like. Oh, there's a few hotels, they'll have a pilled shrimps or something. They ring up. That's how you just put. It's mainly the locals who, that's what keep us going. It can be hard physically if you're when I say you go out one day and not expect very much, and you might have so much as you can carry, or you've got to walk twice. Every day or every other day is not the same. You all work out different each day. I mean, I've been out with my nets, right out deep, and that's as much as I can carry, and been out the next day and had 2 flatfish.
You have to be prepared. It's unpredictable. You might have a few good days or a few good weeks, and then you've got to. Then you mightn't get nothing. Like now, there's nothing about sort of thing, and that's how it goes. See.
I mean, it goes to show. Look, from yesterday I had a reekful. Today I've just got a handful. I mean, there you go. There's 150 with there. Look, quid's worth. All that, like I say, going out there struggling for that little bit there. So I was lucky to make a fiver a day with that bit of white here and that there. So that's what I mean. You can't. It's not enough for 2 families to do it. But one family might just struggle to plod on. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. The shrimps have definitely dropped off from years ago to what we used to have. We used to have 9 weeks like this, all lined up outside, full right up with shrimps. And we haven't got them now. Oh, I think if we did, we'd struggle to sell them, so it'd be pointless bringing them in anyway. But as it is now, we just got enough to tick over. I mean, last week it was not, we had no shrimps. Now the winds change, or the weather's starting to get colder. We'd lose the shrimps and start getting a bit more cod and a few more sea bass, hopefully. I think so, it's just all that hard work for nothing. Look what I got. A handful of shrimps and a few whiting. Isn't it?
But I am all that special. I'm getting older, so there's not that much about. So Adrian and the boy been doing it this week. I haven't been up to it. Oh yeah, I've done it for 52 years. But I suppose I won't be able to do it much longer, like. And now Adrian's taking on, and his son, and I just give him a hand in and out, and I go out there when the weather's right.
Because this don't never pay me to do anything, you know, to survive for keeping my family going. So I work in permanent nights at a yogurt factory, processing yogurt or fruit, putting the fruit in with a yogurt. Like. So I just plod on as I'm going for a minute until he says I've had enough. And when he says he's had enough, then I shall pack up and carry on. I mean, it's not a job I like doing in a factory. It's so competitive. It's the same job. You know you're going to go in there and you're going to do the same thing. It isn't like going out fishing. You don't know what you're going to get from one day to the next. It's the unforeseen out there.
And like now, Adrian, as I finish, he'll take it on, and the son-in-law, Karen, he does it. Yeah, they like doing it. But of course, it's only a one-man band, and it's, you know, you have to... I've always made a living at it by I keep going at it. But it's... but when you've got a young family and that, and a mortgage, they need to have a job as well, really. But I've always been able to do it. Just about. Yeah.
It's a one family concern. There's not enough for two of us doing it. So I just help out. And when they retire, I hope I can carry on with it. And my kids will be left, grown up and left school, and so I should be able to plod on then. Just take it every day as it comes. I don't want to be rich, I just want an easy life. Something I like doing and not being bossed about or whatever. Or working in a dead end job. That's what it's for.